Okay, I'm just turning 16 and having a birthday pool party. My father invites every girl he knows. And I'm not talking about girls my age. No, not Jonas. He invites Playboy bunnies and models and I think actual whores, real prostitutes. So there I am in my giant bathing suit with nervous puberty oozing out of my gigantic pores. Just awful. So the band suddenly stops playing and I hear, "And now, the man of the hour, Rusty Venture." All eyes on me, right? Then suddenly, almost predictably, the action man shoots my groin with a shrink ray right as that f***ing jackass Colonel Gentleman pulls my shorts down.
Well, it's like a nightmare.
Oh, no. What I went through today was like a nightmare. What happened when I was 16? That is my life.
Hi! Welcome to Venture Bros, Venture Bros Podcast. I'm your host, always, Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Graham. Superman. Mason.
Hey, I know that one.
I wanted to go easy this time. Good luck saying you don't know who that one is.
I do know, unfortunately. Or fortunately.
Whoa.
I mean, whatever.
Whoa.
I live in Metropolis, and I work at a newspaper.
What's the name of the newspaper?
La-di-da.
What's the name of the newspaper?
The Daily Planet.
Yeah!
Bugle. Bugle.
You shut up! Oh, I'm so happy. That went so well, except for Nick trying to ruin everything. Speaking of which, we also have Mr. Nick the Huntress Friedemann.
I think I have crossbows on my wrists.
That was a good one. And I
Is it true?
I honestly don't remember what her old design looks like. Her new design, she does not.
Oh, well, shame on them.
That was really kind of okay when they had that.
That was my favorite part of the character I don't really remember.
Guys, only 2 more weeks left of the superheroes. Are you going to miss them?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because we're doing a new... I was like, are they canceling all of the Marvel movies?
Yeah, I was like...
Yes!
What? I was like, what magic is happening in the world? Oh.
Awesome.
No.
Man.
Nope.
Good movies again? Whew.
Oh, man, that'd be crazy.
Thank God.
I'm not going to say anything. I still enjoy this ride, but it's okay. To each their own. Except for Venture Brothers, which is for everyone.
Yep.
So let's talk about Venture Brothers, eh?
Hey, let's do it, eh?
Unless you make me want to kill myself with some assistance. No good? C+, maybe? I'll
More
take
like
it.
A-.
Really?
Wow, that's
That was
actually better than what I was going to give it.
Well,
a big upgrade.
we're grading on a curve. Nobody blew it, so...
It's true.
we're just everybody's going up.
Nobody actually committed suicide after that joke. So.
No. So, a plus. Maybe an A+. It's an A+.
All right.
I feel so accomplished. But we're talking about assisted suicide if you didn't catch it from my wonderful joke and all the wonderful follow-up.
Yeah. It would be surprising if you didn't catch it.
I'd be ashamed. We're nearing the end of the season here. This is kind of the end of the not plot-centric episodes for Season 4. The next 2 are very, very heavy lore theme episodes. This is the last kind of one-off.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. Because after this, it's just set up for Operation Prom, and then it's Operation Prom. Not that the next episode isn't great, but, it's different. And this one, interesting enough, started as something totally different, which we will jump into after Graham tells us everything that happens. Spectacularly.
Everything in vivid detail.
Well, you know what? Let's dial it back. If we're doing... let's do an A- detail.
Okay.
I believe in you.
I'll give it my mediumist.
A little bit above medium. Not quite perfect. Go.
All right. So we start with Brok discovering Dr. Venture in his car after they're playing football, I believe, yeah?
Yeah.
And Dr. Venture is not quite himself, but he's attempting to commit suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning in Brok's electric vehicle. So that's not going out so well. And then throughout the episode, he continues to try to commit suicide. And we just don't know why. Until Dr. Orpheus goes into his mind and mind melds. And actually, he doesn't even really find out. But later we find out that the Monarch is attempting to control Dr. Venture and have him commit suicide, which is fruitless. And then other crazy stuff happens throughout this episode, and that's funny.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent breakdown. Where do you guys land on this one? Love it, hate it, medium it?
Medium.
No, I like medium.
Medium.
Yeah,
It sounds like a metal.
It's a grande.
I would say it's like I asked for like a grande in a venti, and they gave me a little bit more.
Wow.
That's,
But then they filled up the rest of the cup with whipped cream.
I like whipped cream. It's appreciated, but I don't need it. Yeah,
but you're dairy sensitive?
Yeah, and it was also an Earl Grey, so I feel like this was kind of not what I asked for, but I guess I'll take it.
I mean, it's still a drink, you know?
Yeah.
So...
That got less accurate the more it went on, but it was really on point for like 5 seconds.
All right, I'm going to spend the rest of this episode making it make sense.
Please no.
Please.
I don't disagree. I think this one is it's one of those. Yeah, it was all right. Like it wasn't one like when I finished it the first time forever ago. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Or that was kind of a snore. It was just kind of like I kind of like the diving into Rusty's head. I really enjoy that. I enjoy anything with Dr. Orpheus, and I've always been a big proponent of more shore leave the better.
Yes.
But I just don't think that all the parts necessarily come together as well as they should have.
Yeah. I mean, we always talk about the A story and the B story, and then in this and some other episodes there's a C story. This one has a C story. But the only part that I really care about is Dr. Orpheus's part. And the football and them kind of teaming around, it's like, yeah, it's good for like little one-off little jokes and stuff every once in a while, but it's like, are we seriously just watching them talk to each other?
Yeah, and like I love those down moments in the show. Like that's kind of what got me into the show. Like we go all the way back to like the very first episode. One of the funniest moments is just two henchmen talking to each other. And for some reason, I feel like this one just didn't quite work as well. Like it used to work great every time, and this one maybe it just wasn't. It was too real. Like it was like that. Like every time we've had it, it had that height of like levity of this is so real it's a joke. And this one, it didn't quite go that far, and it's just like, oh, they're just kind of hanging out, which I guess is cool. Like all the shore leave stuff is great, but
yeah, but I mean, they're literally just waiting.
Yeah,
and Dr. Orpheus is the only one doing something, which is great. With all of the Eros and Thanatos and id and ego, superego, like all of that interaction is great and hilarious. And then we've got this technically has a D story too, because back at the cocoon with Mrs. the Monarch and 21, like that's awesome. I love all of that.
Yeah.
And then the C, I don't know which one it would be, but C or D story would be just the Monarch by himself, and even that's funny.
Yeah. I think it kind of suffers from, we talked way more in the front half of season 4 than the back half, but they kind of have those kitchen sink episodes of just like, let's just keep throwing in stuff until we have a whole episode. And this one started as a B story to the Butter Glider episode, like the whole like trying to get Dr. Rusty to kill himself. That all started as part of that episode, and they just got a little too repetitive and redundant, so they decided to take it out and make it its own thing. And when you know that it kind of works, like it doesn't work, I see why they changed it, but the idea that this was supposed to be part of that, I'm like, oh, that kind of clicks. And then it also makes sense that that's my least favorite episode of the back half. It makes sense that it would be tied to that episode.
Interesting.
Yeah. It just, I mean, I think the problem is that like every single storyline has a weird flaw. Like, I feel like the Monarch's strength is kind of playing off of somebody else, whether it's 21 or the Moppets or Dr. Mrs. the Monarch. Dr. Venture really isn't in there, so that's not really there to, like, move things along. Like, he's kind of in there, but not really. And then, like, Shore Leave is fun, but Shore Leave, it feels like, doesn't really have a lot to play off of either.
No.
Like, it feels like they kind of stripped some of the better parts of some of these characters as far as their interactions away, and then there's not anything left.
Yeah, I could see that. It's like, I love Dr. O on his own, but Dr. O on his own he's always better with the Triad. And it's like, or he's better with his daughter, or with Rusty. But him with Billy and Pete, it just doesn't quite work as well. I know they're not actually Billy and Pete, but it's still clearly Billy and Pete.
Right. But
I
Dr. O
just
is
put that
also
together.
not. Oh yeah. But Dr. O is also not going to 11 when he's with Billy and Pete, which I think is part of the problem as well. Is that he's not like doing his big theatrical things, which is why there's a lot of things that just feel like they're not there. Except for, I will say, 21 and Dr. Mrs. the Monarch.
Yes.
That actually works the whole way through, really, with no hiccups that I felt like I was experiencing.
I totally agree. And another thing that I picked up from the book that I thought was really interesting, the entire reason we get the cheerleader costume of Dr. Mrs. the Monarch, it came out of Hammer and Public getting tired of seeing the two cosplays of Dr. Mrs. the Monarch, of just the pillbox hat old one and then the new one.
Wow.
They're like, really tired of just seeing these two costumes around. Let's give them something else to do. And while we're at it, let's give a new 21 costume. And they were like, so far we haven't seen anybody do the ball gag 21, but I'd love to.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
And it works. I mean, they make it work, and it's great. And, you know, her little cheerleading moment of cheering Gary on is great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And it's a nice little, you know, pick-me-up type of thing. You know, it's like a super good moment for the both of their characters in this episode. But yeah, like you guys are saying, it's like everything else is kind of like everything else was kind of medium. Like Dr. O doesn't go to 11. He's just kind of actually doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. It's kind of like the same with Rusty. It's like, this is one of the very few times we see Rusty be a good dad? Question mark.
Holy crap! Yeah, especially like after the credits bit.
Yeah,
when he's talking about his own life, you're like, wow, that actually is heartfelt, explains a lot, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's why you're not crazy. You know, kind of like a joke, but yeah, totally weird.
But it also comes, like in real life time, 15 minutes after we have the joke of, your dad doesn't love you. He only loves this box of stuff. So it's like, it's really like, I think that's more where I come at odds with the episode. And like, we'll post Brok's review on our website like we always do. He loves this episode and loves specifically for that moment with Rusty and Hank. And I can see what he's talking about. I just disagree with him a little bit because he thinks this is the validation that Rusty loves his kids. And I think it's more the validation of why Rusty will never love his kids, because he doesn't know how.
Yeah. And I also think, to a certain extent, I mean, this has never really been brought up before, but he's doing his best to a certain extent, but do you think that he kind of resents his kids?
I don't think he'd ever go that far. I just don't think it's that. It's not even like a malicious, like, I hate my kids. I don't think he hates the boys at all. He gets very frustrated with Hank often. I don't think he ever hates Hank or even Dean. I think it's more just, he just kind of has accepted his lot in life and will just deal with it. And that's it.
Right.
It's like, it's at the very end of the episode when he wakes up out of his coma thing and he comes out and he's like, no, you're my problem to deal with. You do this, shore leave, go do something. It's just his lot in life is to be in charge of them, whether he wants to or not. And that doesn't mean he doesn't love them, but it also doesn't mean that he does love them. It's just what he does.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I think that's totally accurate.
And I don't think that makes... I mean, Rusty's not a great guy. We've made sure of that. But I don't think this makes him any worse of a person. I think that's a very surprisingly poignant and on-the-nose thing that happens to a lot of parents, unfortunately. And he's doing the best he can with it, but that leaves him in kind of this weird spot.
Yeah. I mean, to Brok's point, it does kind of validate him in a way of, like, he loves them maybe the most that he can.
Yeah.
He is capable of as this void of all emotion man. But yeah, he's still rusty. He still has the rest of all of the episodes that we've proved our point otherwise up until now.
And every episode after this.
Yeah.
And
especially after this, yeah.
And like, even when like we just dive into this episode itself, when we're going through Rusty's head and seeing all the different variations of Rusty, none of them are a father.
Nope.
None of them are a man who's proud to take care of his kids. Fucking zero. Like, they're either a crazy sex maniac, a guy who's like a tinkerer who's actually really good at what he does, but he's too shy to be that, or it's basically just Jonas Jr., but as Rusty. Like, none of these are good fathers or good role models. They're just different variations of the Rusty we already know that actually build up to the Rusty we do know. Like, it makes sense. But again, that's the whole, like what I was saying earlier, none of them equal quality dad.
Right. But this is, I think, why I'm asking if you think he resents his kids, because the only representation of his kids in his mind are dead versions of his kids.
I mean, I guess I don't have enough to say he doesn't. I think it's just the father in me
maybe
going, like, I hope he doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe resents the wrong word. I think more just kind of like, I think we can all agree that he doesn't necessarily have positive forward feelings about his kids. That they're at best ambivalent.
I don't know. I think he's kind. I think he's kind to them. I think all of the dead kids in his head are more of guilt and not resentment.
Okay.
I think they're him reminding himself, not really as a failure as a dad, but a failure maybe as a scientist or a failure as a guardian or any of that. But I think they're more of guilt as opposed to, man, isn't it great to remember all these dead kids that I have?
No. Right. I don't think he's taking any joy in it. It's just more like that he has no representation of them other than this one outcome.
Well, I mean...
But I think guilt is the thing that makes the most sense.
In the book, they do list it as guilt. Like, they go through all of the dead kids, and, like, we see every version of them that has died in that parade. Like, even the two that we didn't really have clarified earlier, they're in there. And the way they describe it is like, yeah, he's guilty about it. His kids died. Like, even if he's not the world's best dad, he's still a dad. When your kids die, there's no way to not feel that. And he's had to go through it fucking, like, 16 times. So...
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a mixture of, yeah, it's got to be guilt. That's the only way to really describe it. That doesn't mean that doesn't make him any better of a dad. He still sucks.
He's still
For sure.
16 times worse than any existing dad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think what we didn't talk about in this thing. It's just kind of...
Dr. Orpheus shirtless at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Still wearing his talisman. That was pretty cool.
Oh, man, of course he wears a talisman. Of course. What was your, like, we've been kind of harsh on it. What did you like about this episode? Like, because I know Brok loved it, but, like, what works for you?
I mean, go ahead, Graham. Sorry.
I just took an in-breath, so that's fine. I mean, I think this episode works overall, again, of the... not age-old, but according to this show, the age-old argument of science versus magic, or science versus spiritual, which I think is great. And that's something they build on again and again and again. And then, again, great one-liners and some good, 21 and Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch stuff.
They kiss. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, that's true.
That's a big moment.
That is a big moment.
It's a big moment for 21. Apparently not so much for Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch.
No.
But I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like she's been with Monstroso and a bunch of others, and their whole relationship, Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch and the Monarch's sexual relationship, is very loose.
Yeah.
And 21, this is the most action he's gotten really pretty much ever that we've seen.
Yeah.
And
definitely ever that we've seen.
Very aware that he fancies Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch. So it does mean a lot to him, but also gets quashed pretty hard immediately as the Monarch wakes up.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, I think the only reason, because I'd have to remember, we're going to watch it here soon. I haven't rewatched Operation Prom in a long time. But if I remember correctly, like, Dr. Mrs. the Monarch, I think the only reason she feels awkward about it is because Gary feels awkward about it. I think if he didn't, she'd be like, whatever. Because that's what the Monarch does.
Exactly.
He goes, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
I think since it's his henchman, he might be a little angry. Not angry, but I mean, he'd want some space for a minute. But other than that, I think it would be kind of
But
whatever.
that's what he does. He just goes, "We're supervillains. I don't care." Like, his response is just so nonchalant. I mean, we're talking future here, but I think it's interesting just kind of like how we see these different aspects, especially because getting Gary in there and getting Gary to make a move. I mean, that'd be like I don't know. It'd be like a guy in the '90s making a move on Pamela Anderson. It's just like you don't do that. It's like you don't go after her. Like, to him, she is the most gorgeous woman who has ever walked the face of the earth, and he goes for it. Like, it says volumes about where Gary started to where Gary is now.
True.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of confidence he's got it's impressive. And like, I love his arc throughout this season. Like, especially like all of season 4, just from where he starts to where he ends. I think it's just fascinating. And they
especially
do
in this season. But I love his arc from the beginning of the season to the rest of the show.
Oh, for sure. I think season 7 is where he kind of drops off a little bit. He just kind of turns more into a gag guy. But all the way through 6, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think even in 7, he's still trying to figure out what his new thing is, but
less so. But again,
so.
we'll get to that in a few months.
Yeah, we got some time.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time. We got a few seasons in between. The one thing we definitely didn't talk about, even in the breakdown or anything, that I feel we should spend a little bit of time. We've been kind of hinting at it in previous episodes, but this is where it really comes to a head of Hatred and Brok not seeing eye to eye on the boys.
Right.
Because at this point, the Sphinx is so out that they don't have any... There's no use in hiding anymore, because they're not going to keep wiping their memories every other day. So they're just out and about doing their thing. And now that they can hang out in the compound, Brok and Hatred are definitely going to come to a head of, how do we manage the boys? Because they do it very differently. And I really like seeing Hatred stand up for himself at least a little bit. He's not great at it, but he tries.
He does his best.
Unfortunately,
He does.
that's the best way to describe it. He does his best. Like, he's just not the...
Yeah. He's like a... So Savannah and I have this joke if we watch like reality TV and there's a host and the host is chastising the cast for God knows what. I mean, come on. But we'll just call him like, okay, stepdad. And it's just like how it always feels. And I feel like Sergeant Hatred is always stepdad. Like, he's never quite like in charge enough, and he never quite does the right thing. He's always kind of overstepping a bound or understepping. Like, he's never got the right balance.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on.
Yep.
It's just sad. It's funny because I actually think he does a better job in later seasons, but in this season, because it's so new for him and he kind of like forces his way into this position, I just don't feel like he feels comfortable.
Yeah,
Which I think is totally accurate. I mean, I think that's great. I mean, again, we've said this phrase numerous times, but it speaks to the quality of writing. Of it's awkward because he is awkward because he should be awkward because it's weird and it's new and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing until later.
And think about whose shoes he's trying to fill. Like, it's not like he's just trying to fill some old bodyguard. It's the guy who, like, everyone in the world knows as, like, the best killer, the best spy, the best sex guy, like, the best everything in the world.
Who Hank looks up to completely.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Would die for him. Would do anything Brok said.
Yeah.
And then he just...
It's like getting...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. I insist.
Okay. I was going to say, it's like getting married and then, like, never having been in the house before, and then you walk in and there's all of these, like, trophies that the dad has won that you're just like, oh, and it's just, like, all for being, like, an amazing father and an amazing human being. It's just like, oh, this is, oh, shit. Like, that's it. I just, like, that's That's how it must feel.
Yeah, it's welcome home, stepdad. Look, my previous dad had won Father of the World.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
And it's like
5 years
every
in a row.
world leader that's like a positive world leader just giving him high fives. Just like, boom, boom.
Signed letter from Barack Obama, like, you're the best. You are. I've learned so
You're
much
the reason
from
I was
you.
I
able
wish
to
I was
change
half
the
the father
world.
you are.
So, sorry, stepdad, was it? Yeah, what did you want to tell me about bedtime?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Could you please go to bed?
If you want,
If
I
you-
guess.
if
I
you
don't
feel like it.
know. If you're tired, maybe. Do you want a Coke? What's happening?
A Coke.
Yeah, what can I get you?
I was thinking warm glass of milk, but no, you had to go for Coke.
No, I mean, if he's that tired, I mean, do the
Classic
opposite.
stepdad move.
Oh, yeah. Here, I'll be your friend. You want some Mountain Dew for bed?
Yeah.
Yes, this is all very Sergeant Hatred, except for the whole, like, learn how to make a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know how you got your blindfold into the gun.
oh, Dean.
Oh, you made Brian laugh so hard that his stream cut out.
You broke me. I think that's really all I have to say on this one. Are you guys kind of in the same boat?
Yeah, it has its strong moments. I just think that some of the bigger plot lines are just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I could have spent more time in the bigger, better parts, like in Rusty's head or with Dr. Mrs. the Monarch in 21. Because we never found out who is the Leviathan. We never found out a bunch of stuff, like what happens. Like, there's a bunch of other stuff that Dr. O tries to do in all of this. And getting out of his head and how that was all successful or just a waste of time. But there's so much there that we didn't see. So...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it really feels like some trimming would have made it a stronger episode. If it had just been inside his head and the B story was just Monarch and 21, I think this episode would be up there as one of my favorites of the whole season. But
Totally.
But it just spent too much time doing too many other things, which, I mean, it's a tough thing to complain about. It's, here's more awesome stuff. Yeah, but I want the awesome stuff piled together better.
Yeah. For sure.
And it's their own
I
damn
just thought
fault.
of that would have been cool. That was like a gag that feels very Venture Bros-y, but just wasn't done. Was that you can see through Rusty's eyes the whole time, and they never really do anything with that.
Oh, right.
And it feels like there would have been a gag that would have been something where you're just seeing something happen in the background as the Monarch's just like doing some stupid shit in Rusty's brain.
Like
you know what I mean? Like that feels like a very Venture Brothers gag that just like didn't happen.
Oh, yeah, something like Sergeant Hatred brushing his teeth.
Yes, exactly. Like trying to take care of him.
Yeah, just totally ridiculous. Like, what the fuck is he
amazing.
doing? Yeah, that would have been great, but oh well.
Nah, whatever.
Let's move to quotes. Quotes. I can go first, because mine's not a shore leave line, and I'm very upset with myself for that, but it's the part that always made me laugh the hardest. So it's when Dr. O is trying to dive into Rusty's mind, and he has the two sons, and they don't work. So then he goes for, I have a box of his favorite stuff, and Dean still doesn't work. And they get rid of Dean and the Rush cassette, and then he gets right in, and Brock looks at Dean and goes, I'm sure it was the Rush cassette. Oh, it's a good
Brutal.
Awesome. So mine is when Dr. O and I forget now, Billy Quizboy and Thanatos. Thanatos Pete. I forgot what sets Thanatos off, but he goes into one of his, crazy death speeches. And so Eros flies over to me. Go. Okay, calm down. Okay, just breathe. In with the good air and out with the crazy air. It's just a good moment.
I love Billy. He's so good. Can't wait for next week.
He's amazing.
Yeah, if only there was an episode that really shows off.
Centered around him.
Yeah. Someday, I guess.
Nick, favorite quote?
Mine is, it's kind of like it's like a sequence of quotes. It's when the monarch wakes up and he's like kind of like recovering and he sees what's happening on top of him, which is the aftermath of 21 and Mrs. the Monarch making out. And he goes, what's happening? And Mrs. Monarch goes, nothing. And then it cuts to 21 and he goes, anymore. And he just like looks down.
Oh, it's so sad.
So sad.
Just the quashing.
Oh, I like that though.
So quashed.
Quashed.
You could almost hear the quashing.
Oh yeah,
100%.
You can hear the boner cry. I think that's it for today. Are we ready to do a quick round of plugs and say goodbye?
Yeah.
All right. So after the hype is back, we are back at it with our new format, which is a few less people, a little bit different structured episodes, new photos. We're working on a new logo. We might get some new music. We might not, because I really like what we have. But it's all new stuff at After the Hype. And let's see. So this one comes out next Monday, which means our next episode will be on Batman Ninja, the animated movie that came out, I want to say like a year and a half ago, and it looks amazing, and I just haven't had time to watch it yet, so I'm really excited to talk about that. And then next week we have coming, and the week after that, not next week after that, we have The Favorite, which I did not see, but I hear is really, really good, so I look forward to watching that one as well. And then be sure to check out Samwise. She is crushing it as always. And then be sure to check out our new actual play D&D podcast, Demon Days, where I do the intros and outros, and then everybody else just plays a really entertaining game of D&D. If you've ever been interested at all, it's a great show to dive into, and all of the audio quality is getting way better starting in, I think, 2 weeks? I want to say 2 or 3 weeks, depending on when you're listening to this. And I couldn't be more excited for them. It's coming along great. Graham, Nick, anything to plug?
Nope.
Oh, just Earl Grey and whipped cream.
Do you think that'd be better or worse than a red mocha cooler?
Way better. Like 1,000%
Way
better.
Oh my god. Earl Grey tea with foam and all that, that's basically a London fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't have red Kool-Aid on top of Kahlua and Hershey syrup.
That's true.
Gross.
Okay. All right, thank you guys very much for
More
listening.
ice.
We will be there next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.